I believe that there are two approaches that can lead us towards self-realization, although in truth, we are already self-realized and need only clear the fog that tells us otherwise. These two methods are satsang, which we are currently experiencing, and practicing what we learn at home. Satsang is a very powerful teaching that is often kept secret. When we attend satsang, we absorb its power and realize that we all possess the knowledge we require. As we continue to attend, everything becomes clearer and clearer. At first, the teachings may seem strange, but with time, we begin to resonate with them, much like a medical student who learns from doctors or a law student who learns from lawyers. In satsang, we transform into kinder individuals. We release our anger, doubts, and suspicions, and begin to blossom like a flower. We notice that we feel good for no apparent reason, and our worries dissipate. This does not mean that we become uncaring, rather, we become more compassionate and understand that the world is Maya. We become less affected by its ups and downs, and it becomes impersonal to a certain extent. However, we continue to perform our duties, and our bodies do what they were meant to do. We become mentally peaceful. If satsang is not accessible or if we are not drawn to it, we can still achieve the same results by diligently practicing the lessons and teachings of Advaita Vedanta. In doing so, we will also open up and begin to transform. It is truly amazing if you are able to pursue both paths, as they are the ones that can lead you to self-realization. Therefore, it is important to reflect on your life and the direction you are heading in. Take a closer look at your daily routine, from the moment you wake up until you go to bed at night. Are you using your time wisely or wasting it? Keep in mind that your time on this earth is limited, and if you do not realize your true nature, you will continue to repeat the same lessons over and over again. There are many opportunities to discover your true self, but it is like searching for gold. You can talk about it and make a few shallow attempts, or you can become fully committed and dig deep until you strike gold. The choice is always yours. There is a tale of a magnificent tree that had a small bird living on its lower branches. The bird would jump from branch to branch, eating sweet berries and singing happily. But when she came across sour berries on some branches, she would become upset and stop singing until she found sweet berries again. The bird realized that her happiness was dependent on finding sweet berries and avoiding sour ones, just like us humans who are happy when we find something we like, but unhappy when things change. One day, the bird looked up and saw a large, radiant bird sitting atop the tree. The big bird was blissfully happy without doing anything, and the little bird became curious about her secret. As she began to fly towards the big bird, she spotted some beautiful red berries and forgot about her quest to reach the top. This cycle continued, with the little bird being distracted by other sweet berries and forgetting about the big bird's happiness until the sweet berries ran out and only sour ones remained. Similarly, we get distracted by material things and forget about our spiritual goals, thinking that a new possession or a change of scenery will make us truly happy. But when those things don't satisfy us, we become frustrated and dissatisfied, and the cycle repeats. However, the little bird eventually realized that nothing would stop her from reaching the big bird and revealing her secret. We too must remain determined to pursue our spiritual goals despite distractions and setbacks, and find true happiness within ourselves. Once the little bird realized that she was the big bird all along, she flew straight towards her without any distractions. She passed by different kinds of berries on her way, but none of them mattered anymore. As she flew closer and closer, the big bird shone brighter and brighter until the light became unbearable. Finally, the little bird landed right where the big bird was perched and discovered that she was the big bird all along. Similarly, we often talk about God as if it's a distant concept that we don't have time for because we're too busy with our material work. However, when we make a resolute decision to be on the spiritual path and seek God, we realize that we have been God all along. We are the only God that exists and the absolute reality, pure intelligence, and infinite wisdom. There is only one life, the life of absolute reality or Sanchidananda Parabrahmana, and the choice to follow this path is always ours. It can be challenging at times, especially for those who have been on the spiritual path for many years without any noticeable progress. However, remember that if you don't achieve it in this life, there will always be another opportunity. Also, every step we take on this path earns us good merit and accumulates points towards our spiritual growth. Therefore, never judge yourself or focus too much on your problems. Instead, be aware of your divine nature and keep moving forward on your spiritual journey. It's important to recognize that your problems do not define you, nor does your body or your thoughts. Take control of your thoughts and don't let them consume you. Remember that your thoughts are not your allies, but rather, they try to mislead and confuse you. Even positive thoughts can distract you from true happiness and inner peace. Aim to go beyond your thoughts and connect with your inner bliss and joy. When your mind starts to create thoughts, question them by asking yourself, to whom do these thoughts come? This simple inquiry can help you realize that you are not your thoughts, and can provide clarity and perspective. As you seek to understand the source of your true self, your life will begin to improve in all areas. You will react differently to situations that once troubled you, and will start to see the world through the lens of love and compassion. Remember that the world has always been full of suffering and injustice, but it's up to you to change your perspective and see the beauty and good in everything. You are the source of your reality, and everything you see is a projection of your own mind. If you notice something wrong in someone else, recognize that it is a reflection of yourself. Don't judge or blame others, but instead, focus on improving yourself and your own inner world. By doing so, you will create a ripple effect of positive change in the world around you. When you encounter someone who is facing difficulties or when you notice something that seems amiss, be aware that the qualities you perceive in others are the same qualities within yourself. It is important to remember that you are constantly judging your external experience, but it does not even exist. As you continue to grow, you will start to see through these judgments and become indifferent to what others do. Negative vibrations will not affect you anymore and you will be at peace. You should not condemn yourself or anyone else, but rather leave the world alone and be happy and blissful. Helping others will come naturally to you because it is in your nature. Patience is crucial, as most people do not become perfect overnight. If you make a mistake, do not worry and be patient with yourself. As you continue to evolve, your mind and demeanor will become calm and peaceful, and you will not be affected by negative things around you. You will become your true self, which is pure bliss. There is nothing to accept or achieve, you already are who you are. If you come across someone who is suffering, help them without any thoughts or calculations. This does not mean that you become detached or cold, but rather become more loving and kind, and do what needs to be done without any attachment to it. Your body will naturally do what it is supposed to do. Becoming spiritual leads to serving humanity, as one sheds selfishness and develops humility. With awareness, external events lose their power to affect and generate resentment, allowing for non-judgmental help for everyone. The first principle of spirituality is that all things are projections of the mind. Through this, one realizes their true nature as the truth, I am, rather than being limited to the mind. The world as we experience it is relative, as it is constructed through our own mental projections. We are like projectors, and the world is like a projection on a screen. The screen, which represents our true self, remains unchanged, while the picture on the screen changes based on our mind's projections. As one understands this, they no longer become ecstatic or disheartened by what they see, as they recognize that they are projecting their own reality onto the world. The mind and projector, which generate these projections, must be destroyed. The picture of the world must also be destroyed, leaving only the screen, which represents the truth. Ultimately, only reality remains. In essence, there exists only oneness and the true self, and the mind is non-existent. No illusions, no projections, this is the truth. Everything merges back into the true self, and everything is the true self. There is only I am, the true self, and you are that. Do not separate yourself from yourself, as it is a fallacy to say that you are not the truth because the truth is within you. The real you is not separate from me, but rather, you are the true me. The true self is within your heart, and it is the only thing that exists. When I observe anything, be it you, a chair, or a book, I see the true self. Everything is the true self, and this is difficult to express through words. Most people see a table when they look at a table, but I see my true self as the table. Simply put, it is God. When you are in silence, everything becomes one. Therefore, the only way to truly understand is to go inward and discover it for yourself. As long as we keep talking about it, we remain infatuated with the world. You are the true me, just as you are, and all is well. Harmony is the basis of all existence, and everything is harmonious in reality, aside from the illusions created by the mind. The mind has deceived us into believing that things are black and white, but in reality, there is only existence. You can only come to this realization through deep introspection and self-study, and once you do, you will become omnipresent and realize that everything is the true self.